Welcome everyone to the aptitude part of GATE. Yeah. As a part of our discussion, we'll be focusing on simple equations today, right? And before we start anything, let us focus on understanding the important terms related to this, like what is a constant, what is a variable, and what is an expression in that way, right? The one that is fixed is basically considered as constant. Like a man has some 50 rupees more than another person, like A and B are two persons we are considering. If I say that A has 50 rupees more than B, that 50 is constant basically there, right? So that is what we call it as constant. And if we consider B is having some X rupees, I can say that A is having X plus 50. So this X is basically a variable and A will be having X plus 50, that 50 more than B. So this is what is basically, these are basically variables we'll be considering in that way, right? And the combination of variables, constants, and these things we'll be considering as an expression. Like if we are having 2x plus 3, we simply consider that as combination of variables and constants. We call it as an expression. And if we are equating this to some other constant or variable or part of, an algebraic other algebraic expression, we'll be considering that as an equation. Like 2x plus 3, if we are equating it to 9, we call that as an equation. And if you are observing here, x is the only variable we have, so we call it as single variable or one variable equation. And can we find the value of the variable for x here? Means yes, definitely we can say. Subtracting 3 on both sides, left hand side will become 2x is equal to, right hand side will become 9 minus 3, 6. And as 2 is multiplying here, bringing it to the other side, we'll be having that 2 dividing that. So that means x is equal to 6 by 2, nothing but 3 we can say. So in that way, we can find the value of the variable by solving it. And if we have one variable, from school days we know that one equation is sufficient to get the value of that variable. Suppose if we have two equations like, two variables equation like 2a plus 3b is equal to 10. Can we find the value of the variables a and b? Means no, not possible. We require, we can find the values of variables a and b, but not the unique solution possible. To find the values of a and b uniquely, we require one more equation in terms of a and b that is different from this. Like if we have the other equation as something like 3a minus 2b is equal to 2. Solving these two equations, we can find the values of the variables. And what are the different approaches that we know for finding the values of these variables? Means from school days we know that it may be trial and error method we can think about, or we can say substitution method, or we can say solving by elimination. These are all the different methods that we know for finding the values of the variables. Like trial and error means we give the values to a and b, like give the values of a, and from that one we can find the value of b. See whether both the variables that we are giving for a and values that we are giving for a and b satisfies the equation, second equation or not. That is what is basically trial and error. And substitution is basically what we can say is, from the first equation we can say 2a is equal to 10 minus 3b, right or not? 2a is equal to 10 minus 3b. And from that we can say, dividing by 2 on both sides, a is equal to 10 minus 3b by 2. And if we substitute that a is equal to 10 minus 3b by 2 in the second equation, we can find the value of that variable b, because the second equation now will be changing to 3 into 10 minus 3b by 2 minus 2b is equal to 2. So, and if you are observing carefully, this is the equation only in terms of b we have. Solving this, we can definitely find how much is the value of b. Once we know b value, we can find how much is a. And these are basically trial and error and substitution. But the most common method that we have used in school days and we are tuned to is basically solving by elimination. And what we'll be doing under solving by elimination means we'll be multiplying the equations with some suitable constants, so that we'll be having the coefficients of one of the variables same in both the equations. Then by addition or subtraction, we'll be eliminating that particular variable for which we have made the coefficients as same. Like if you are observing carefully, multiplying the first equation with 2 and second equation with 3, we can make the coefficients of b same in both the equations. Like if we multiply the first equation with 2, it will change to 4a plus 6b is equal to 20. Right. And second equation with 3 will be having that equation changing to 9a minus 6b is equal to 6. And Adding these two equations, we can say 6b cancels. 4a plus 9a, it will be 13a. So 13a is equal to 20 plus 6, 26. And what we can say, a is equal to 26 by 13, 2. Once we know how much is a, substituting that value in any of the given equations, we can find how much is b. Like if you are observing here, substituting a is equal to 2 here. 2 2's 4 plus 3b is equal to 10 minus, is equal to 10 we have. And bringing that 4 to the other side, it will become 3b is equal to 10 minus 4, nothing but 6 we can say. Or in other words, b is equal to 6 by 3, 2. So the values of the variables a and b are nothing but 2 and 2 we can say. So in that way we can solve the equations by either substitution or by elimination, and elimination is the most convenient method for getting the values of the variables. And if we have two variables, two equations is sufficient. And we know from school days that if we have three unknowns, we require three equations to find the values of all the three variables. And if we have n variables, we require n equations to get all the n variables. Right, now we'll be focusing on understanding how the GATE focuses on these type of questions. Let's look at a small example. And most of the competitive examinations, they will be giving us a situation based, problematic situation, and based on that we need to frame the equation. Like no examination will be giving us simply equation and asking us to solve and get the values of the variables in that way, right? So if you are observing this particular example, it says that the cost of 10 mangoes and 9 apples is 104 rupees. The cost of 27 mangoes and 25 apples is 285 rupees. What is the cost of 3 mangoes and 2 apples is the information. Suppose if we assume the cost of each mango as some m rupees and cost of each apple as some a rupees, and if we have cost of each mango as m, cost of 10 mangoes will be 10m we can say, like something like this one. If we have cost of each mango as some 5 rupees, 10 mangoes will be costing 10 5s 50 rupees. In the same way we are having that as m, so we can say it is 10m. And next time if you are observing 9 apples cost is 104, this plus 9 apples cost is 104 rupees. If we have cost of an apple as a, 9 apples cost will be 9a. And adding these two we can say total cost will be according to us 10m plus 9a. But according to the problem this is given as 104 rupees. This is the first equation that we can have. Second one, if you are looking at the cost of 27 mangoes and 25 apples is 285 rupees. If one mango is costing m, 27 mangoes will be costing 27m. One apple if it is costing a, 25 apples will be costing 25a. So sum of the total cost according to us is 27m plus 25a. This is what is mentioned as 285 rupees. Right, and if you are observing, we are looking for combination of variables like 3m plus 2a, 3 mangoes and 2 apples cost is how much, right? And if you are observing carefully, two unknowns, two different equations, solving them we can find how much is m and how much is a. And to make the coefficients of one of the variables, that is not that easy in this particular case, because the coefficient of m here is 10 and here it is 27, and the combination or the LCM is basically 270 directly we can say. And if you are looking at this one, 9 and 25, again they are not having anything common, so LCM will become directly the product only, 9 25 we can say. So to get that equation, we need to multiply. If you are looking at elimination of a, we need to multiply the first equation with 25 and the second equation with 9. Right, and if you are looking at multiplying the first equation with 10, it will become 250 mangoes cost plus 25 nines, 225 apples cost is equal to 104 into 25. Can we write this 104 into 25 as 100 plus 4 into 25? 100 into 25, 2500, 4 into 25, 100. So 2500 plus 100, 2600 rupees. So first equation we are changing into this form. Second equation, if you are looking at multiplying this 27m plus 9, 27m with 9. So 20 nines is 180, 7 nines is 63. So 180 plus 63, 243 we can say. So it will be 243m. And 25 into 9 it will be 225a. And 285 into 9. Had it been 300, we can say 300 into 9, 2700. But we are considering 15 times lesser. 15 nines is 135 only or not. So what we can say, it is basically 2700 minus 135, which we can write it as 2565. So 2565 we have. Yeah. Now, subtracting the second equation from the first equation, what we'll be having is 250 minus 243m means 7m, and 225 minus 225 cancels. We are left out with 2600 minus 2565, which is 35. So that means 7 mangoes cost is 35 rupees we have. In that case, what we can say is 1 mango is costing 5 rupees. If 1 mango is costing 5 rupees, we can say 10 mangoes cost will be 50. So 50 plus 9a is equal to 104 we have. Or in other words, what we can say is 9 apples cost is 104 minus 50, 54 rupees. So if 9 apples is costing 54, we can say 1 apple is costing 6 rupees. So 1 mango cost is 5 rupees and 1 apple cost we are having it as 6 rupees. And if you are looking at the question is asking for how much is the cost of 3 mangoes and 2 apples it is asking for. So 3m plus 2a is how much is the question. And 3 mangoes cost will be 3 into 5, 15 rupees we can say. 2 apples cost will be 2 into 6, 12 rupees. So put together we can say it is 27 rupees. Right. So in that way we can get the value of that 3m plus 2a. But if you are looking at the question, this is by what we can say water method, the method that we have studied in school days for solving by elimination. But every time we may not be having that type of solving is required. If you are observing carefully, what is the first equation that we have? 10m plus 9a is equal to 104. 10m plus 9a is equal to 104. Right. And second equation we are having it as 27m plus 25a is equal to 285. This is the thing that we are having. And if you are observing carefully, as we are not looking at the values of the variables, the question is asking for the combination of the variables, like how much is 3m plus 2a. Multiplying the first equation with 3, what will be having that equation changing to is 3 into 10 30m, 3 into 9 27a, that will be 3 into 9a 27a, 3 into 104 will be 312 we can say. Right or not? From this equation, if we subtract this one, what we can say is 30m minus 27m, it will be 3m. 27a minus 25a, it will be 2a, is equal to 312 minus 285. Whenever we have to take the difference between two numbers, one of the approaches that we can think about is complements take. Like 285 is how much less than 315 less, and this is how much more? 12 more. So the answer is 15 plus 12, 27. That is what we are having using the regular approach of solving by elimination or not. So sometimes we may be having this type of situation is possible where we can answer the question without going for the finding the values of the variables, and this is possible in whenever we have most of the cases the combination of the variables is asked. So first check this way. If you have big equations like this one, sometimes we may be having even bigger than this variables like 201m, 202a, and here it may be instead of 3-digit number, it may be a 4-digit number. In that way, those type of things are given. And by looking at the equation, we will be thinking that it is very difficult to solve the equations by multiplication or elimination. And most of the cases we will be having in those cases, addition or subtraction will be giving us answer 99% cases. If not addition subtraction, maybe twicing or tricing one of the equations and subtracting may be giving us the equation. So look for these type of approaches. Do we have anything easy way of answering the question or not?